Welcome to Investigate with Kate. Today I'm here with Domoine Rutledge. In my opinion, the 80s was the best decade ever for music. How would you describe your job using an 80s song title?
How would I describe my job using an 80s song title? 80s was sort of my generation, Kate. I was in high school and I started college in 1987. And you have really stumped me with that question. Happy Feelings by Frankie Beverly and Mays, because I absolutely love what I do. And I am excited to get up and come to the office every day and engage in clients and other stakeholders.
How did you decide to become an attorney?
That's a very good question. Um, I can't, there was no, epiphany or magic moment. Uh, my relatives, my parents, aunts, uncles always tell me that I've been somewhat of a talker, right? I was attracted to two professions. It may surprise you to know that one was a funeral director, an undertaker. And let me tell you why. Because I would see the funeral director, he'd be dressed in a suit and he drove a big fancy car. And I thought that was very impressive to me. Well, as I grew and got older and had an opportunity to see lawyers on television and that kind of thing, I was attracted to it. And I really decided that I was going to go to law school after I started college and was an undergraduate at Southern University, majoring in political science. And when I just started thinking about my career track, I decided that I was going to go to law school.
I see lawyer billboards all over town. Are you a billboard type of lawyer?
I am decidedly not a billboard type of attorney. Uh, so you should know, Kate, that I would suggest to you that the overwhelming majority of the members of the bar, as we say, overwhelming majority of attorneys in this state do no advertising whatsoever uh, in the fashion that you see billboards. There is a raging debate within uh, the bar, if you will, amongst attorneys as to whether or not we should allow it. It's heavily regulated now by the State Bar Association. Many in my profession believe that the quote billboard lawyers, as you say, give the rest of us a bad name because people call them ambulance chasers and that kind of thing. Uh, I've always been of the opinion that word of mouth is the best advertisement. If I represented you or if I represented your mother in a matter and somebody said to her, I need a lawyer for X, Y, and Z, it's the height of a compliment to me for her to say, you know what, I hired Domoine Rutledge and I recommend that you go and speak with him about the matter.
What is one of the biggest misconceptions you think people have about attorneys?
Well, I think a big misconception is that attorneys are somehow crooked, that attorneys are somehow shysters. Uh, there are a lot of lawyer jokes where, well, somehow or another, our profession has gained a reputation for people being driven all about money. All lawyers aren't plaintiff attorneys who represent people who have been injured. You have attorneys who focus on civil rights. You have attorneys that focus on giving people affordable housing. You have attorneys that focus on in the medical profession, Medicare, Medicaid, those kinds of things. You have attorneys that are public defenders. You have attorneys in all aspects of society, government employees who don't make millions of dollars a year, but spend a lot of time helping people.
What is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you during your career?
Oh my God. So I began my career, Kate, as uh, an assistant district attorney where I was prosecuting really bad people for all sorts of things, from simple misdemeanor thefts to first degree murder and all points in between. And I did that for about 6 years, about 5.5 years. And so I saw a lot of
Stuff.
I saw a lot of stuff doing that. And then, interestingly enough, and where I got to meet your mother, I transitioned from that to something totally different in representing a school system and doing primarily education law, where I saw a lot of uh, different and unique things. Um, and so then I left that and came into this private sector where I do a lot of business development as well as manage our legal affairs. I remember at EBR, a young man, his name was Marco. The bus driver thought that the kid had crossed in front of the bus, but he hadn't. And the bus took off and, and, and hit him. That was very gut wrenching for me. Uh, I will never forget that. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget his parents' faces, his siblings, his relatives who were in this little small apartment where I had to go, and it was raining. It was just raining, raining, raining. Uh, and I had a son who was about the same age as this kid at the time. Um, so there's those kinds of things. I don't know how if I would say it was crazy, but it was very impactful, and it shows the human side of what we do sometimes, right? Because these things happen to real people. Although we see lawyers on television shows, L.A. Law, Law and Order, that kind of stuff, and don't believe anything on that because that's not really how it happens, right? But my wife won't watch it with me because I always say that won't happen in the real. But she's like, watch the show.
I know you are involved with Southern University.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about some of your interests outside of law?
Oh, um, I I'm a big sports fan. I love football. I try to make many of the Southern University football game and a variety of athletic events. I serve on the board of supervisors at Southern, but I also chair the athletic committee. So I'm very active in my church. My wife and I both are Sunday school teachers. I'm a deacon and treasurer at my church, so uh, I'm active there, and that's a primary interest of mine. Um, I mentioned sports. My wife and I love to travel also, so that's an interest of mine.
Me too.
Well, great, and I love jazz music, and so I listen to that.
What is one of the best lawyer jokes that you've heard?
Oh gosh, uh, what's the joke? What do you call 20,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
No, a good start. That's terrible.
What's the problem with lawyer jokes? Lawyers don't think they're funny, and nobody else thinks they're jokes.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it.
And also, this is a good one. What did the lawyer name his daughter?
Mm, I don't know.
Sue.
Sue. Yeah, that's funny.
What makes Baton Rouge a great place to practice law?
Well, um, first of all, Baton Rouge is home. I don't know that there is anything particularly special about Baton Rouge that makes it great to practice law, other than you got you have a very, I think, a large bar here, and when I say bar, group of
Me.
attorneys, because you have two law schools in this town. You have a law school at Southern, and you have a law school at LSU. So we produce a fairly sizable number of lawyers on an annual basis. Many of them, some of them do move away, but many of them do stay and practice here. So it makes for, I think, a good bar association. I think we've got a good group of judges, both at the city court, district court, and federal court level, who are very competent and who do a good job. And so, if I had to point to anything, those would be. And you have some really well-established law firms. You have, and I think we still have, for the most part, uh, sort of a collegiality, if you will, amongst members of the bar, mutual respect. Uh, Sometimes you can get some folks who are practice law and what we call like by ambush, but then you've got some really stand-up men and women um, who you, although adversarial in terms of I'm representing a plaintiff and you may be representing the defendant or vice versa, we still have mutual respect for one another and do it in a way that's reflective of the best intentions of the rules of professional responsibility.
I Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking enough of me to come and conduct the interview. I'm glad to be on Investigate with Kate. So when you take over Nora O'Donnell or you're the on CNN or somewhere, I can say, I remember that young lady. She came and interviewed me.
Thank you for watching Investigate.